Alrighty, welcome to the virtual collegiate exploration for North Carolina and South Carolina students, sponsored by the Carolinas Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers and StriveScan. I want to welcome everybody today, and my name is Brittany, and I'll be your facilitator. I'm going to go over a few housekeeping rules before we get started. So you can use your Q&A button on your screen to type any questions that you might have for presenters during the presentation. Your camera and microphone are off, so all panelists cannot see you or hear you. This is one of the many different sessions that are happening for the schedule itself, so you can check it out on CACRAO.org, and this presentation is being recorded. So you will be able to see it within a week's time at the same website, CACRAO.org. I'd now like to turn it over to our presenters.
Thank you. Let me go ahead and start my screen. Welcome, everybody. My name is Lisa Koenig. I work at Johnson & Wales University. We'll talk a little bit more about each of our institutions later. I'm joined by Casey, Jasmine, and Matt, and I will talk to Casey and let him say a quick hello to everyone else while I get our screen going.
Hi everyone, my name is Casey Whitmire and I'm representing Brevard College. To Jasmine.
Yeah, I work at Queen's University of Charlotte. I'm excited to be with you here today.
And I'm Matt Kelly from Living Arts College. Real excited to be here with you all today and tell you all about our creative arts programs.
Hey, I believe Casey's up first.
All right, next. All right, so as I represent Brevard College, and we are a small liberal arts school in Brevard, North Carolina, near Asheville. So we're consistently recognized as one of the best liberal arts colleges. We focus on experiential learning. We have small class sizes. Like I said, and our location is in the mountains of Western North Carolina, which makes Brevard a top choice for students all around the world. Next. Click. So experiential learning, it isn't something that Brevard, we say that we do. It's, it's who we are. So it's something that you'll find kind of in the DNA of the college, no matter which program you decide to go into. You'll see it kind of all around. It talks about our mission statement a little bit. Brevard College is committed to an experiential liberal arts education that encourages personal growth, inspires artistic, intellectual, and social action. Next, click. So here are a few examples of some different programs at Brevard College and some of the ways that you would experience experiential education in those programs. Click. All right, so the first one we're going to talk about is our business program, which is business and organizational leadership. So some examples in that program, you're going to work with local businesses. You're going to learn how to, study, develop, write business plans for any future business that you might be a part of, or nonprofits and things like that. You'll be able to study, develop, and write a marketing plan for your future business, whichever nonprofit or things that might be. And then also you will have an internship with nearby businesses, hospitals, and other industries in Brevard. Click. So next we talk about the history program. Some of the things that you'll find here, we have a method of teaching that we call reacting to the past. This is where students will learn about an event in history, and then they will basically assign roles, kind of like theater. And then they'll act out the events that happened in history to where you can learn the different aspects, the different mindsets and things like that. Click. Next, we'll talk about our criminal justice program. Here, you'll work on and investigate your own crime scenes in our criminal justice lab on campus. The faculty in our criminal justice program come from all sides of the criminal justice field, as well as law enforcement, prosecution, and the investigative side. You'll intern with local police departments as well as federal agencies that work in and around Brevard, North Carolina. And we do also set you up to have your law enforcement certification after graduation if that's something that you wish. Click. Lastly, we'd like to talk about something that's kind of specific to Brevard, which is our Wilderness Leadership and Experiential Education program. I actually, while I was a student at Brevard, minored in this program. And part of that program, you actually plan and then participate in your own 21-day wilderness expedition, which we call immersion. You work with faculty who have experience in the outdoor field, whether that be rock climbing, mountain biking, all different types of paddling sports, hiking, backpacking, all sorts of that types of things. And part of that program is you will also intern with local outdoor industry and businesses. Next. Click. So a few fast facts about Brevard College. We do have an 11-to-1 faculty-student ratio, average class size of 15. We are #1 in undergraduate teaching from US News and World Reports, which we attribute to our experiential education philosophies. We are NCAA Division III athletics. We have 11 mountain bike national championships. And in Transylvania County alone, there's over 250 waterfalls located near our campus. Click.
Okay, I think that wraps up Casey. Now we're on to Jasmine.
Yeah, Casey, were you good? I didn't want to cut you off. You good to go?
No,
Okay.
that was good for me. Thank you.
Oh, perfect. Brevard is beautiful. So I work at Queen's University of Charlotte. Again, my name is Jasmine. Queen's is a small, private, comprehensive university located in Charlotte, North Carolina. We have about 2,500 students on our campus, right in the heart of the Charlotte area. We're about 2 miles from uptown Charlotte. So our students really benefit both from the small school atmosphere at Queen's, those close connections with professors, more intimate educational opportunities right at your fingertips without having to sacrifice the benefits that you will have being in a big city, both professionally and socially. I'm a Queen's alum, and I had a really great experience as a student there, and now really love talking with students and families about Queen's. We focused in on this panel on experiential learning, and so I wanted to talk with you a little bit about the opportunities that you'll have at Queen's in that area. First and foremost is our internship program at Queen's. We know that when you go out into the real world to compete for a job or a graduate school placement or whatever the next step might be after undergraduate enrollment, is that you'll be competing with students who kind of look like you, right? They have a bachelor's degree, they've had that 4-year experience, but what other experiences do they have? And a lot of that comes through internship work, and employers are looking for those opportunities. So 100% of our students at Queen's complete internships. We build it into our curriculum and we require it of our students. So you will have internship credit when you graduate from Queen's. You can see a number of places that our students have interned on the right-hand side of your screen. This is by no means an exhaustive list. We don't have an exhaustive list that we hand to students and say, here, pick your internship. Rather, we prepare our students with the tools and the resources necessary to land these highly impactful opportunities. You'll take a course at Queen's called Career Connections, where you'll learn resume writing skills, cover skills. You'll do mock interviews and attend networking sessions. And then you'll go out into the community and complete these internships. You'll recognize some of these places probably as organizations Charlotte area or in North Carolina. You see the Carolina Panthers, you see Duke Energy, Novant Health, CMS, which is the Charlotte-Mecklenburg school system, a number of different places, but our students are not limited to Charlotte. They go out and do internships all across the country and all across the world. And you can see how this program really pays off for our students. 97% of our graduating class of 2019 were employed or in graduate school 12 months after leaving Queen's, nearly 90% within 6 months. And our students are accepting a job related to their career goal. So you're not getting a degree in exercise and sports science, let's say, and then taking a job at the shoe store because you couldn't, land a job in your field. You're well networked and well prepared to go into that area. Lisa, you can hit the next slide for me. So internships is one thing. Research is another opportunity. Maybe you are really passionate about exploration and learning. And if you are, we would love for you to be a student at Queen's, of course. But we'd also love for you to participate in some form of research. And a lot of our students do. A lot of that comes from the small school atmosphere at Queen's. while we're a small school, you have big and, more importantly, personalized opportunities. On the left-hand side of your screen there, you see one of our graduates of Queens, Chioma. She graduated this past year. She was a biology student. That is her doing some work at a research lab at University of Michigan over the summer. She completed a research project there. And our students are not only just doing this research and then leaving it where it is, they're going on to present their work, to publish their work, and they're getting these opportunities that are going to add to their resume and add to their portfolio so that when they go on to the next thing, they have those listed there. And you'll have opportunities to work very closely with our professors. We don't have teacher's assistants or graduate assistants or anything like that. You're working with experts in the field in the areas that you're interested in, whether it be science, whether it be humanities, business, education, healthcare, communication, whatever the area may be. Lisa, you can hit the next slide for me.
Jasmine, did I skip a slide on you?
I don't think so.
Okay.
You go to the next one, Lisa.
Is that it?
You're good right there.
Okay.
So sometimes students think about study abroad, and you might not think of that as necessarily an experiential learning opportunity, but it most certainly is. What's more experiential learning than going out and another culture and another country's perspective? So at Queens, we really value that global perspective. We value the skills that you'll learn with an international experience. And so we cover the cost of an international experience for all of our students. So as a Queens student, you will have the opportunity to try. I wanted to go to Ireland my entire life leading up to college. I have no idea why. I had never been outside of the United States, but I really wanted to go to Ireland. And so I took an Irish literature class at Queens. We studied James Joyce and William Yeats. And then I traveled for 2 weeks with my professors and my classmates to Ireland to explore deeper what we had learned in the classroom that summer. You can see some of the examples here. That's Yap, is a small Micronesian island over on the left-hand side of your screen with those students scuba diving. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil is there in the middle. Our students went to the summer 2016 Olympics there in Rio. South Africa over on the right-hand side of your screen, a little safari adventure. So maybe you're doing that 2-week faculty-led experience. Maybe you're doing a 4 to 6 week language immersion or internship abroad, or maybe you're participating in a full semester or a full year long abroad. You can do those as well. We have programs in over 150 different countries. And we know that students who experience international travel are more likely to land a job when they graduate. Over 60% more likely, in fact. If you have a study abroad experience, you're more likely to land a position post-graduate. So the last slide I'll ask Lisa to click to is just a few other items, and I won't go too deep into many of them. But Lisa, if you click to that now, thank you so much. So we have what I would call co-curricular programs at Queens. These are things like simulation type courses or competitions or service learning opportunities at Queens that you can participate in. Model OAS is Model Organization of American States. That is a class that I really like a lot at Queens. I was a political science major at Queens, and some of our students participate in that, but it's a semester-long course where our students will represent a certain country within the Organization of American States, which is a real thing. You're just kind of modeling it out. So this past year, our students represented Chile, and they went to Washington, D.C. for a week in the spring semester to compete and simulate that Organization of American States opportunity in Washington, D.C. with one of our political science professors. Maybe you're taking part in Critical Thought Symposium, which is a year-long course that each month you meet and participate in a different simulation. So maybe one month you're doing the Cuban Missile Crisis and acting out that kind of thing. Casey mentioned a little bit about the history programs and kind of simulating those. This is very similar to that. Maybe you're participating in our business school pitch competition. Maybe you have an idea for a great company or a great product, and you're going to pitch it and get some money and try and go out and experience that or make that come to life. Maybe you're participating in our honors program and getting some extra research opportunities or involving yourself in, which is something that's very important to our students at Queens. So regardless of what you study, regardless of what you're passionate about, what you're interested in, I think you can see through these last few at Queens, you'll have the opportunity to not only have a great education in the classroom, but to be able to explore it even outside of the classroom as well. So I hope you check us out, and I will turn it over to Lisa.
Great, thank you, Jasmine. All right, let me get my technology square here. I feel like I'm having some blips in my internet. And on that note, I'm going to actually leave my camera off so I'm not stressing this a little bit more. Johnson & Wales Charlotte is a small campus of about 1,600 students right in the smack uptown of Charlotte. We've got easy access to transportation, no need for cars. We have the College of Arts and Science, Hospitality Management, Business, and the College of Food Innovation and Technology. We are a free application test optional school, and 95% of our students receive some form of financial aid from the institution itself. If you do crave a bigger out-of-state experience, our home campus in Providence, Rhode Island is home to about 9,000 students. It's about 3 hours from New York City and an hour to Boston. So internships, the why. Our students and grads have worked at and established some of the best restaurants on the culinary scene. A lot of people know us as a culinary school. Restaurants like Kindred, Heirloom in Charlotte, and the Purple Pig in Chicago. But they've also done internships and co-ops and been hired by companies such as Aramark, Deloitte, Marriott, Bank of America, Coca-Cola, Ritz-Carlton, and by sports organizations like the Panthers, NASCAR, Charlotte Knights, and the Charlotte Hornets. We are very well known among colleges as having a really great internship and career services program. In fact, other colleges visit us frequently to kind of figure out how we manage these programs and learn from us. So last year we had 570 of our Charlotte students did internships, and we conducted over 1,100 on-campus job interviews. 95% of our students said they felt more prepared for careers after completing an internship. So why are internships so important? You've got job experience relative to your major, skills that are necessary after graduation, and networking with current industry employees. You're going to have the ability to learn relevant knowledge, learn industry trends, while at the same time getting work experience that sets you apart from other job applicants in the future. When you're trying to find an internship, it's important to find one that's really going to fit you specifically. Where can you find them? Most colleges offer a department solely devoted to helping students find those internships. But there are also great tech apps like Handshake, Hello Intern, and letsintern.com. Talk to friends, parents, neighbors, relatives around you, speak to your professors. Many of our professors are still currently working in their industries and are a great resource of information for you. You may even want to reach out to a company that interests you and ask them if you could just do an information interview. So, this is the when. You want to start looking at your internships early, but I also want to talk a little bit about paid versus unpaid internships. In a recent survey, the National Association of Colleges and Employers noted that 65.4% of seniors who have paid internships on their resumes are more likely to get a job offer prior to graduation. Getting paid allows you to focus only on your internship and not have to work a part-time job to supplement. Unpaid internships, often the expectations are a little bit looser. They can be a great way to get work experience without the stress of a paid position. It allows you to create a professional network before you graduate, and you're more likely to land a paid internship with an unpaid internship under your belt. So paid, again, to reiterate, paid for your time while gaining a professional network, experience, and skills. Unpaid, smaller companies may not have the funds to pay an intern, but could give more of a one-on-one hands-on work experience for you. So again, we have about 1,800 different internship sites that we work with in 47 states and 28 countries. Most students don't realize you don't have to find one close to home. If you decide you want to do an internship all over the world, as Jasmine mentioned, most colleges have fantastic opportunities for you to get way out of your backyard. So we have had interns in like 46 different states and hundreds of countries around the world. So, and many universities will actually give you a cash stipend if you're doing an unpaid internship far from home. Benefits of doing something far away, it's exploring somewhere new and exciting. You have time off to explore a new city or a new area. And when you're on your own, you're learning how to take care of yourself in a way you really wouldn't necessarily think about if you were close to home and to your family. However, some of us really don't like to stray too far. And unless your parents are charging you rent, chances are you're pocketing much of the money you make from working without worrying about your rent, your meal, or your laundry expenses. So just a snapshot of some of our numbers. Career outcomes rate, similar to what Jasmine was talking about with Queens. 97.7% of our students are employed full-time, seeking graduate work, are on mission work, or are in the armed services after graduation. Again, internship sites, these are just for the Charlotte campus. It does not include Providence. We have the 46 states, 33 different countries. 71% of our students received a job offer after that paid internship, and we had over 1,500 on-campus employer visits last year. So we do help you identify your field of interest. We have an entire department dedicated to helping you figure out where you would like to do your internship or your co-op during school. And I tell students all the time, try to consider doing one in at least your senior year if the institution you decide to attend does not have it built into the curriculum. So we help you find your field of interest. That includes management positions in hotel, tourism, travel, food service, sports, entertainment, events, business, accounting, the list goes on. Our strong business core curriculum is embedded to each major. We have an upside down curriculum, so you do start taking classes in your major from day one, but this is also built into your experiences. You're not just learning about something, you're actually hands-on doing this. And these majors are developed this way to help you develop portable skills necessary to pursue a range of management positions and to switch your major while at Johnson & Wales if you want to. I work with students all the time who are saying, you know, this is what I've always wanted to do. Well, I had a similar experience when I was in college. I thought I wanted to be an attorney, and it was almost the end of my sophomore year before I started in my particular major, which was political science at the time, and realized it wasn't necessarily the career path for me. So switching gears as I'm approaching my third year kind of set me back both academically and financially, because now I had unused courses towards a new major in psychology. So this does allow you to kind of test drive what you think you might want to study before you actually get out into the workforce. So contact info for me, but real quick, if you are interested in some more info on J&W, you can just hover over that QR code right there or text Wildcats to 75192. And I am going to turn it over to Matt.
Thanks so much, Lisa. And thank you all for giving us the opportunity here at Living Arts College to speak with you today. You know, a lot of the outline that the previous schools went into, a lot of these details I'm not going to be getting into in our talk with us. You know, I'm just going to tell you all about Living Arts College, where we're from, and kind of show you what we do with experiential learning. And then, of course, if you're interested in learning more, if you have a passion and an interest in creative industries, if you have a passion for graphic design, interior design, photography, audio, film production, animation or 3D design, you know, you're going to want to check us out on our website, living-arts-college.edu. And I'll mention that again at the end of our talk as well. Next slide, please. So you might have seen there that we've been in operation since 1991. My name is, again, Matthew Kelly. I'm the Director of Education there at Living Arts College. I've been with the college for going on 16 years now. I started there as a full-time professor. My background is actually in multimedia design, back when it was called multimedia design, and now it's called all sorts of things like you know, mobile app design and UI, UX, and all these other terms. And that's part of what we teach at Living Arts College. We offer a 3-year bachelor's degree, so instead of 4-year, we get you through in 12 quarters or 3 years. And we also offer other options too, as well as diploma options. And right now we are fully open, and we're offering a hybrid model with our instruction. So, you know, there are virtual instruction options as well, if you're interested in these fields. So, you know, we're working in the creative industries, but as you can see on the slides, we've really, since the inception of the college, since 1991, we've been in the trenches of experiential learning. You are at Living Arts College experiencing the creative industries. and not just studying them. So, and these fields are, as you can see on the screen, animation, filmmaking, photography, audio, interactive media, and interior design. And we'll show you a little bit of a few examples of the work. We're going to show you plenty of examples of the work here through the slides. Next slide, please. Thank you. And then, you know, as you can see, there's several examples of student work of the kind of photography, the kind of graphic design, and the various production work that we have going on there at the college. It's always a very busy place. Even right now during these times, you know, we have all the safety measures in place, social distancing, all the local, state, and federal requirements, and it's still a busy campus, and we've made a lot of accommodations to get these productions and these kind of production style classes done. But it wasn't that much of a shift for us because we were already, you know, as I said, we were already, you know, kind of in the trenches of experiential education. And for, you know, some of you might know that experiential education really comes down to a philosophy of, you know, sort of a holistic tying of real experience to the, you know, the theory and the application of what the students are learning. That's what we've been doing since day one. We essentially model each of the studios, each of the production areas. You can see some examples there of them, the soundboards and the mixing studios, all the production areas, like real world studios. Our students go on to, they go into intern, work part-time, work contract, work full-time, and do freelance in all of these fields. And they do so relatively quickly, either before or soon after graduation, because of our ties to industry, both local. You know, they go on to work at local agencies here in the Raleigh, Central North Carolina area, such as Capstrat, McKinney, French West Vaughn, Centerline, Pinto, Red Hat. But they also go on to work at several nationally and world-renowned production houses, design agencies, advertising agencies, such as Disney, Marvel, Universal, Weta, DigiDesign, Industrial Light and Magic, just to name a few. If you ever come and visit the campus for a tour or take the actual virtual tour, you'll see we have several showcases of all of the examples of real world production work that our students have been involved in. It's a pretty impressive showcase of movie posters and other award-winning design. Next slide, please. So in lieu of that right now, I'd like to take on a very brief virtual tour of the Living Arts College campus. And next slide, please. This begins with really understanding how we approach experiential education. And these are two phrases that you hear a lot whenever you visit the college: extreme creativity and applied creativity. We've taken creativity, which a lot of folks in my experience, they typically will sort of put in the pigeonhole of being subjective and sort of undefinable and you know, very imaginative, and we've objectified it and kind of even codified it to a sense, and put that into our curriculum. So we essentially, if you have a spark for any of these creative fields, we essentially take you through the process of really teaching you everything there is to know about rational, intuitive, and practical applied professional creative skills. So these two phrases essentially embody that, but again, you would learn more when you visit the campus or contact us. Next slide, please. And this is an aerial view of our Raleigh campus. And as you can see, it's a very non-traditional facility. It's 3 domes, all connected by a center structure. We have our A, B, and C dome. And each of these domes has a periphery of radially centered classrooms, which are all open. There's always lots of things going on in these classrooms. There's, well, I say classroom, but like I said earlier, many of these areas are very much like actual production studios. We have sound stages, green screen chroma key areas, mixing studios, editing studios, and several areas that, you know, vaguely resemble classrooms where all the instruction takes place. You can also see there on the aerial view that that we do have on-campus student housing. It's what we call the Smart Suites. It accommodates a relatively large number of students so that you know, students can basically live right there on campus and just hop out their door in the morning and come over to campus without any kind of delay. Next slide, please. And oh, there, there you start to see a little bit of our gallery and some of the showcasing that we have on the campus. I was thinking at first that was a shot of our film production showcase, but it's not. Just another example of some of our gallery work. We hold regular creative competitions. So every one of our quarter, our students compete against one another, and the winners of those competitions are displayed on the walls. And on the left, you actually see a hint of some of the award-winning work that we'll show you a little bit later. Next slide, please. And then we can go ahead and click on through too. These are just some examples of different student work and different student projects that our students have been involved in. Like I said, Marvel, Pixar, so on and so forth. Now, these next few pictures, you can probably tell, they give you an indication of some new emerging technologies that many schools have been trying to integrate into their curriculum. We are at the moment starting up and really in sort of the, I guess, pre-beta phase of putting together a program where we're going to be offering immersive extended reality and mixed reality instruction. So you see there on the screen a HoloLens, a Microsoft HoloLens being used. We have on site a number of Oculus VR, AR devices. We have a HoloLens 2. We have one HoloLens 2 at this moment, and then we're going to be adding more and more as we start to develop out this program. But we are moving along on that very quickly. So if you are interested in learning about virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, extended reality, and how to actually work in these fields, make sure to get in touch with us. This is actually one of the areas that we've noticed are one of the hottest in terms of interest. I don't like to use that word hottest, but it's sort of the area, one of the areas of most interest that we've been getting a lot of feedback on, and hence the reason why we're ramping up these programs as quickly as we can. Next slide, please. So we call our corner of the domes that we're setting this up, and we call our VR and AR immersive reality lab. And we're really excited about getting that off the ground as soon as possible. Next slide, please. I think there might even be a shot in here of it. There it is. There's and that's just the first one that we've set up where you can actually experience some really cool VR and AR production and experiences. So this sort of, for our point of view, this kind of takes the cake in experiential education, or at least in terms of one of the latest emerging forms of a high-end experiential education. There's still a lot to learn. There's still, there are many schools that are sort of figuring all of this out because it is a new field. But we already have made some great strides on this. We've got the lab, as you can see there. We've got it integrated into some of our existing curriculum, and we should be up and running with a full offering for VR and AR very, very soon. Next slide, please. So just to tell you a little bit more about our existing programs, and again, that's our 3-year bachelor programs and also diploma programs. The first one is animation and game design. This is where students learn how to 3D model. They learn about motion graphics and visual effects, essentially how to composite virtually computer-generated graphics with live footage. And they also learn about game production, game design. And then we round out each of our creative programs with a little bit of internet design, portfolio building skills, and real-world marketing skills so that the students can get out there and self-promote themselves. We do this in each of the programs with the courses, but we also, from an instructor point of view, a curriculum point of view, from the academics point of view, we really engage the students on this point at every stage of the game. So from the very first quarter, the students are there. We're encouraging them to go to local industry events, to reach out to local industry clubs, taking them to events such as that, and really helping them connect to industry and learn a real world network marketing skill set and a client relations skill set. Next slide, please. So we also have interactive media and design. This is you know, some parts are similar to the previous program, but interactive media design focuses much more on web, interactive, mobile app, and graphic design aspects. So there's much more web, graphic, and video production and design in this program. If you have a love for, you know, graphics or art and how it's integrated into, you know, the digital arena these days, this is the program that you would probably want to focus on. Also, several of our students in this program tend to have interest in digital illustration, digital art, those kinds of areas. Next slide, please. And then, of course, we've got filmmaking and visual effects. Again, we round this program out as we do with the rest, but this is for the visual storytellers. Filmmaking is, you know, where the young people that want to be cinematographers, professional filmmakers, professional film production employees, and you know, work in a studio, work on site, work on location in a real world film production. That's those kinds of students are the ones that enroll in this program. Next slide, please. And then photography and imaging. This is for our photographers. Again, just as the previous programs, we rounded out, but they focus much more in this program on photography, camera design, art direction, studio shoots, on location shoots, and that sort of work. They're doing it there on site, like I mentioned before, in our studios, our various studios. We have photography studios on site, as we do for all of our other programs. But then our instructors will also take our students very regularly out on field trips to local agencies, on local projects. This just reminded me, our photography instructor, Miss Kat, she's taking our students on a virtual field trip tomorrow. I gotta do some planning on that, but that's the sort of thing that all of our instructors in all of our programs are always doing. They're connecting our students to industry at each stage of the game. Next slide, please. And then audio production and design. As you can see here, this is one of our many audio studios. We have one central studio that you're going to see something about in a little bit, called our Born to Rock Studios. This is part of it, the image that you see here, where we have an SSL duality board. We have just the whole suite, anything that you would need. This is one of the very interesting sort of talking points, or sort of centerpieces when we have people visit the college, especially when we have guests that are in that day, perhaps renting out the studio or working with one of our instructors on a real world project. Everybody loves to come in and sort of watch from behind the glass and see, you know, the singing and the music production and how it's all mixed together, and kind of watch it all come together. If you've never seen anything like that before, you've never been in an actual production studio, it's something to definitely check out. I personally, like I said, my background is in multimedia, web design, graphic design, and every time they have guests in there in the studio, I always like to stop by and just check it out, just because it's so cool. Next slide, please. And then we also have interior design. We call this our total interior design program. It focuses on commercial and residential experiences, how to use software such as Revit CAD and other computer-aided drafting software to really create experiences and surroundings and environments that work for a client. And you can see here they learn various things like studio business operations. They learn all the coding, all the licensing, all of these aspects that that interior designers would need to know to pursue a successful career in the field. And next slide, please. So you can see here one of our interior design labs. Studio classes equals reality experiences. So really it is all about experiential education at Living Arts College. It's what we've done from day one. It's what we continue to do now. And it's what we're going to be doing hopefully for years to come. We have a relatively small student body, as you can see there in the classroom. We typically typically max out to no more than 10 students per instructor. So our faculty student ratio is quite attractive. And but that can change. We have a whole slew of general education classes as well. And and if we have a general education class, that class will typically be a little bit larger than that. Next slide, please. And I think I'm probably running out of time here, but I do want to show you just one more last slide. Go ahead and click to the next slide. And the next slide. And you're seeing some really great shots of our facility here. We have a full studio. Like I said, the Born to Rock studio. We have all this really high-end audio production equipment. Next slide.
And Matt, as you're going through this, I just want to let students know y'all can use the chat function, the Q&A box. We would love to have some time to answer some questions for you guys if you have any on any of the institutions or things we've talked about.
Right there, yeah. So I wanted to make sure to show you some of our award-winning students. This is one of the ways that we really enrich the experiential education at the college. We really make it about the outcomes. We guide our students in not just creating great work while they're at school and enrolled in the college, but we help them step by step to enter competitions, to compete against other students at local area colleges. And we have this is just a very, very small sampling of recent students within the last several years that have won local district and national awards at varying levels, Addies, Tellies, all these different local industry awards. And it's something that we do year after year, and something that we do really well at year after year too. The numbers are always really good in terms of, competitively speaking, in terms of how we turn out. I'll go ahead and if that's my time, I'll go ahead and wrap it up there. There's a few more slides here that you can advance through to a Q&A slide. You guys can check out some more of the campus here and some shots of our on-campus student housing, smart suites. But that's about it. Thanks so much for taking the time to hear about Living Arts College today. I hope to hear from some of you shortly and see you at Living Arts College.
Thanks, Matt. Okay, so as we're wrapping up, Casey, any final things you'd like to share about Brevard College?
As far as Brevard College goes, I didn't mention a few things. I also had study abroad opportunities while I was there. So, that's something that you also have an opportunity for here at Brevard, as well, as I said, as some internships that go into other opportunities as well. Other than that, like I said, there's my contact info. If anyone wants to reach out to me, I'd be happy to talk to you each individually. Other than that, I'll pass it on to Jasmine.
Yeah, thanks.
Technical difficulty, Jasmine. Hang on. There we go.
Lisa, you're all good. No worries. Thanks so much. Yeah, students, I would just say, I don't know that we have too much time for questions here at the end, but if you have any, throw them in the question and answer box there. But I would love to have you on campus. We do have in-person tours happening right now. My contact info is there. You can reach out and I'd be happy to see you on campus and answer questions that you have. And I appreciate y'all taking the time to listen to us today. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Here again, my contact info. I did share the QR code earlier. So if you want to reach out, you can email, text, call, and I will put up Matt's information at the end. And it doesn't look like we've had any Q&A come through here. So I would just encourage you, if you have an interest in any of the universities and colleges that you heard from today, to reach out to those people directly. And I hope that you had enough time to grab a screenshot of each person's contact information. And I think we're coming in right at about a minute under. Still not seeing any Q&A. Okay, thanks everyone.
Alrighty, so I want to thank you all for joining us. When you close this window itself, there will be a link for you to basically take a short survey, a 4-question survey. If you would like to check out any more sessions, including like this one right here, you can check out CACRAO.org. And then in about a week, you can see the recordings as well on CACRAO.org. And we want to thank you for joining us today. Have a great afternoon.